Hey there, everybody. Good morning, at least from where I'm at. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I wanted to discuss with you all today a quick topic that revolves around important strategies for maintaining your motivation and for continuing to push towards the goals that you have. Because doing so is quite the hard task at the end of the day. And I was having a great conversation the other day with somebody quite close to me, and we were talking about balancing enjoyment with balancing discipline to get things done. And something I was talking about this person with was the fact that we can't always enjoy what we're doing. Even if what we're doing in the long run will lead us to something that we want, or the path that we're taking is our path of choice, there will always be parts along the way to that path that we don't like, that we don't appreciate, that might make us feel like quitting or doing something else. And all of those things are natural. All of those things are natural. So, in talking to this person, I brainstormed some ideas kind of on the fly and gave him some ideas on what I thought was important to keep in mind to keep you continuing to go along that path, especially a path of change. If you're doing something that you know is not right, let's say you're doing habits that are destructive or are causing you to not progress to where you want to be, stopping those habits is hard enough. Turning around and going in the opposite direction, meaning going in the direction towards improvement, is yet even harder still. So, the first strategy that I like to use and implement in my life to continue along the path of positive progression and avoiding, for the most part, right? Because we're all human, we can't avoid all vices, but keeping my vices to a minimum is to treat life and think of life as a bit of a game, as a bit of a video game. And this is not a new concept at all. This is something that a lot of people think about. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos that have given me this idea, really, and it's to think of life as a video game. If we're to think of like Grand Theft Auto and we're playing online, we want our player to be as wealthy and as good of a situation, have the best weapons, have the coolest clan tags, have the coolest vehicles, have the coolest house. And really, that's not much different than real life, right? We all want things that are going to set us apart, are going to give us a certain advantage in some capacity. And so in video games, I think one of the reasons why we like playing video games so much and controlling characters is we get to have an exciting life story without as much of the negative emotions that accompany progressing in real life. And what I mean by that is we might be frustrated that our kill to death ratio is not as good as we want it to be in, let's say, again, Grand Theft Auto Online, but it's not the same as taking the risk that it takes in real life to progress. So, in a way, sure, you might argue it's a form of escapism, but it's really a form of expression and really should be brought back to the fact that similar types of thinking to level you up in video games can be applied to life. And really, the biggest takeaway from applying a video game like mindset to our actual everyday lives is that the emotions will fool you sometimes. Things that you don't want to do, you still have to do to get where you want to be, to progress in the direction that you want to go. A great example is with like fitness, right? I always use fitness examples. It's pertinent in my life and it's easy. So let's say I want to achieve a certain physique for whatever reason. Everyone has different reasons, from impressing other people to just feeling better and healthier. I think that's the best motivation. It's for health is like the best form of motivation, in my opinion. It lasts the longest. It's most likely to stay. Anyways, that's not here nor there. Well, so we're not going to always want to go to the gym, are we? But in order to get to where we want to be, we still have to overcome the feelings of not wanting to do it. And so if you're struggling with motivation and wanting to do something, think of your life for a moment as a bit of a video game. And if you want to get that nice shiny car in that video game, you have to win races or you have to at least play that video game for long enough that you unlock that car that you so desire. And it's the same thing in real life, like with that workout example that I used. Another one, and this is credit that belongs to one of my close family members and one of my personal mentors, is the concept that time is going to go by anyways. So, what do I mean by that? Well, so when we oftentimes embark upon a new journey towards a destination that we want to eventually achieve, it can be daunting because we can think of how long it's going to take to get to where we want to be. But realizing that the time is going to go by anyways is super relieving. And it has a double whammy effect. It makes you realize that, okay, I might as well be spending the time right now doing the things that I need to do to get to where I want to be, because the time is literally going to go by anyways, whether I do it or don't do it. And that also makes us realize, okay, the time is going to go by anyways, and we only have a certain amount of time to get to where we want to be. So the time that we spend not progressing or not trying to level up in the direction that is necessary to get to where we want to be, that time we don't get back, right? And sure, that might be a little bit scary, but with taking external motivation, sometimes a place of urgency is necessary and required to get us moving. Sometimes that's what it takes. The realization that with each second and each minute and each day that ticks by, that's one less second, that's one less minute, that's one less day that we have to work and progress to where it is that we want to get to eventually. That instills a sense of urgency and makes us realize, okay, maybe I should be a little bit more selective with my time and a little more intentional with my time. It works. Trust me. I'm telling you, it works. There's not a lot of feelings worse, and I'm sure we've all experienced this, than having a goal for a day. Let's say it's a weekend day and we want to get one big thing done. And we spend that day procrastinating until it gets to the end of that day. And then you go to bed, you put your head on that pillow and you're like, wow, not only did I not get the goal that I had set for myself today done, I didn't even start on it. That for me at least is a terrible feeling. And to feed off that, the third way I think to motivate myself kind of piggybacks off that second reason. And it feeds into the fact that the pain of discipline is so much less than the pain of regret. Now, I'm trying to remember if I talked in previous videos on a Michael Phelps podcast that I was listening to. It was an interview on a podcast, rather. And so Michael was saying that he went a period of roughly 5 years swimming every single day, whether it was his birthday, it was a parent's or friend's birthday, whether he was sick, regardless, he didn't create any excuses for himself. He was in that pool, staring at that blue or black line on the bottom of the pool for anywhere between 4 to 6 hours a day for over 5 years straight. And he talks about how there were so many days, like the majority of those days, that he just did not want to go into the pool because he knew he was going to get, a super tough workout in that was going to require a lot of discipline and exhaust him. But he did it anyways. So look where he is now. He's not even 40 years old. I believe he's 38 years old. And he's set up for life. His kids are set up for life. He can travel. He can do whatever he wants. Heck, I look at his social media sometimes and he's like golfing with all these other celebrities, just having the time of his life. And he would have not gotten there if he would have not sacrificed those years to grow and build himself and set so many world records, which I know so many of them, if not all of them at this point, have fallen. But that's besides the point. The point is he didn't want to do and put in the work, but the output that it gave him on the other side of the discipline was so tremendous that if we stop for a minute and we challenge our classic human like thoughts, for lack of a better word, of just wanting the quick reward and seeing delayed gratification as a waste of time. If we look into the future and realize what we're doing now, if we're doing the right things and things we're passionate about, they're going to pay off in the long run so much. So much. It's incredible. I wish we could just step back from the classic frame that we have of what is this getting me right now? What value is this delivering to my life right now? If we then look, okay, what's the value that I'm going to get out of this if I stay consistent and do little bits every day in 5 years? The answer is a lot more than you're probably willing to think. So next time that you don't feel like doing something, use some of these principles that I discussed in the video to help fight that urge to be lazy and to not work for what you realize at the end of the day is going to get you so much further, so much more peace of mind, and so much more than you could have ever imagined. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I know it went a little bit longer today, so I'm going to cut it off here. But as always, please let me know in whatever way you want if this video gave you value. All right, take care, and we'll talk soon.